I came here as a foreigner, and so I didn't, I didn't grow up. I didn't go to high school with all of these guys. Like, many of them have known each other for a longer time, and I always found it encouraging. I found that people who were more experienced than you invited you into their bands if they could tell that you were working. And I don't know. I can't say that it's easy, but there's definitely a lot of people out there that if you have talent and you're working hard, like, they'll notice you and they'll be like, yeah, you do it, you keep doing it, and come jam with us.
The original owner was Ted Beach, and he basically asked, he's like, Wes, do you want to take over the bar? And I was like, well, I'd love to, but I'm really in debt, so I don't know how that's possible. He's like, well, if you manage the bar for me for 4 years, I won't pay you, and then I'll give it to you. And I said, okay. Struck on it, no paperwork, nothing, and then 4 years later, he gave to me. I took over in 06. In 08, I bought what was then the tap room, which is now Wilser's room, and basically that was the step that made what it is today, the Capitol complex, the 3-bar sort of complex.
Wes was the manager at the time. It's like, how much would you pay us to post for you guys? Can we handle this for you? We'll make the posters. We'll put them up for you, We'll help with the shows. We don't book here. Then we started working the door here. Then eventually it's like James starts doing sound here. Then eventually when Wes takes it over 2005.
No, it was before I started doing sound because there was no sound system. When we did our first show, there was no stage. But we also had a whole thing called posturing's not a crime, right? We spent a lot of time like postering because it was our right to do so.
I remember them when they were underage and they'd be out on Queen Street like listening to the music. And then as soon as they could get in, and they probably got in even before they were 19, but they would be on Queen Street, listen to the music, and then when they could come in, they basically started working the door. And like James and Zach, they started right on the door, and now like Zach's my main guy. James moved on to do Halifax Pop Explosion and worked for Sonic for a while. They really had some of the biggest impact on how this whole complex got structured, really.
I mean, we were in it, you know what I mean? Like, we were like, how do we make money doing this?
We talked to the city lawyer about whether or not they prosecute
us. Yeah, the city lawyer
us.
was like, they would never, never take it
we got
to
hassled
court.
one day by the cop, by a police officer saying it's illegal.
Explained to the cop what the actual law is in Canada, and he was just like, I don't know, guys. He said, I don't know, guys. They just tell me to tell you this. Like, it was like, Ramsden versus Peterborough. It went to the Supreme Court. Canadians' right to post. Anyway, we had a whole thing, so we were like in it. I think is what really like spurred all these other things.
Well, we got these poster boards put up. There's less of them now than when you were around.
We fought to get those poster boards up. We played a role, and I mean, we were just like cared about it because I think there was like a snowball effect. And again, bands wanted to come here. Like bands were touring out east. We were facilitating that. Nighttime economy, everything that happens after 7 p.m. This place, the Capitol, is part of what a healthy society needs. Like no city is known for their business district, right? Your city is known for the life and culture. Let's just destroy the Capitol. What do you have? You don't have anything. You're anycityanywhere.com. Who gives a shit if you have a bunch of banks and call centers set up? You want to have a city where you can go skate outside and enjoy creativity and see music. So like it's weird how we know that. Cities know it because they use it to sell themselves, but they invest very little into the infrastructure that creates the next generation of people that are going to do that.
transitional moment for the band overall was starting to play at the North Star Sports Bar.
That's where you guys started?
Our first gig was a Tuesday night at the North Star Sports Bar. It was known for its daytime regulars. It's very cheap coffee. And on Thursday and Friday nights, there were dancing girls. They didn't have anything going on a Tuesday night, and if you're willing to play for free, they had nothing to lose. They still leave the heat on, though, so you're up there on stage, and the heat is just blasting out. You start to sweat. I remember when Mike Nason said, the pole is greasy. The moment that really it hit home, that what the band was about, was not too long after that, we played St. Anne's Court, which is a retirement home. Virtually everybody was asleep. Just asleep in their chair. But there were a couple bright-eyed people. It was really quite poignant. But then, before you knew it, we were playing the Capitol. But it pretty much just happened like that.
If you want to make it big in this world, you're going to have to switch it up, unless, of course, you are practicing a genre of music that is germane to the Maritimes. But otherwise, if you're not great big, what is it?
There used to be benches along the side here on the walls. There was benches all up the hallway. Like, you know,
It was tight. I mean, obviously it was in a different time, but it was a whole other experience when you were so crammed together. But there's also like,
you could smoke in here.
yeah, you can smoke in here. That was like a whole world. You'd walk in for the first time and be like, where am I playing tonight? There's like, you know, no stage, nothing.
We could take off real soon while our love's still in and play our
But this place is the best in the fact that it's 40 people and you feel like you got a full room.
Well,
And then, you know, and then if
needed,
it's
you know?
at capacity, well, yeah, you know, so you could have a good time, even if the place wasn't full, right? Like there were a lot of bands, I would say, like, you know, you'd ask like, how was it? And you'd be looking for that. Well, there wasn't that many people. And they're like, it was awesome. Like it was so good because those 40 people were really
Well,
into
it speaks
it.
to,
you
I mean,
know?
the size of venues in Atlantic Canada. The reality is that every show's not going to be packed, and B, you can't have 300, 400 person venues be the main venue in a place like Fredericton.
hot sauce and the behind. I just wanna play with you.
So I mean, we get these moments where, say you get a band, like, you know, we had it once, you know, the Arkells came through and played here. People were this close to the Arkells. The Arkells were even kind of like, oh, it's cool, we haven't played anything this small in forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there was like, both sides of it enjoyed it. There's, you know, everyone's making a few exceptions for space and
I
everything,
think
but like
as
the
a-
vibe is just huge.
So many shows had 120 people. The energy was so good that I think for a lot of bands would come from away and go, I can't believe this exists in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Like that's when you get a reaction, and that's why it came like top 3 in best venues in Canada and like Searchlight. We didn't even try to get top 10. That happened by
yeah.
mistake.
Yeah.
That was just like people voted for it, and we didn't even know they were gonna, and then we didn't even try till it got there. And I think it was that experience of like the community that was built around it.
I would love that land with my little sand hands.
If I had to pick one local band as my absolute like nemesis at this point, it would probably be Young Satan in Love. I'm doing the cleaning during the day, so I'll fucking come in here after a show that they've done that night, and there'll be just fucking streamers all over the place, and I'm just like looking at them like, oh my god, I have to fucking deal with this tomorrow. Fucking hate you, Young Satan in Love, so much, so much.